Nigerians are speaking and we need to listen. Now, talking about the rising energy cost and supply disruption are placing increasing pressure on businesses across sectors. Now, from manufacturing to small enterprises, many are being forced to adjust operations, cut costs, or explore alternative energy sources to stay afloat. Now, as the global energy crisis persists, concerns are mounting over its wider impact on economic growth, consumer prices, and business resilience in the months ahead. Now, joining us for this conversation is the CEO of GiriToday, Wale Ayantoye. Welcome to TVC Breakfast Saturday.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure having you here, sir. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good.
Okay, great. Okay, I mean, we literally just watched that Vox Pop where we have Nigerians talking about how electricity is affecting them. But now we're talking about the global crisis, which is, I mean, in the energy space. And you as a business owner running your business, how would you say, what more pressure, what's more, emphasis on the more pressure is this current situation putting on you as a business owner?
Entrepreneurship is already difficult. It's one of the most difficult things any human being can decide to do. But also, like you said, the rope is already thin, and just adding this additional pressure, it becomes unbearable. Not just from a business standpoint alone, but also from the end user standpoint, because it's a trickle-down effect. At the end of the day, energy goes up, the cost of production goes up, the cost of logistics goes up. Where does that fall? It falls on the consumers. And these same consumers already, by the time you look at other things that they need for their daily lives in order to live a normal, sustainable life, it becomes extremely difficult. Inflation is high, currency devaluation is there. When you bring all of this together, like you said, how much more can a single person take?
The rise in petrol and diesel at the moment is due to the crisis in the Middle East. And what do you think the federal government should be doing at this time to cushion this hardship on Nigerians?
So this is the thing. I'm Yoruba, so I'm going to say something that we usually say. It's not the day you get thirsty that you start digging a well. There are countries like Netherlands and other countries in Europe that over the last couple of years, they've hugely invested in green energy. One of the things that we've been blessed with as a nation is the fact that we have abundance of sunlight. So there is no reason why solar power is not easily, readily available across different sectors. Over the years, we've hugely relied on petroleum in order for us to be able to carry out these simple things. Countries like China and other developed nations, they've migrated towards alternative energy supply. We have people who have done a lot of researches within that space. And it's not about the research itself, it's about the implementation of it. So long as we keep relying directly on crude oil as our only source of energy productions, these issues are never going to go away. It means that any single issues within the global space is always going to have a trickle-down effect on us. And as a country, that is not sustainable. So now what can the federal government start thinking of is we need to start investing greatly, hugely in other alternative energy. There are people, great Nigerians within the countries that are willing to take that on. And when you do that, it reduces the cost of production, manufacturing, logistics, and other things. Naira begins to gain higher value, purchasing values and all of that. And it's a compounding issue. One single issue, and many issues are going to be solved.
The federal government has started with the CNG initiative. How do you rate this initiative, and what can they do more, to be specific?
I'm a Nigerian. Listen, we've seen so many initiatives over the years. It's not about the photo ops, the handshakes. It's about the translation. How many years? I remember a couple of years ago, there was this Vision 2020. 2020 is come and gone. If you go back and look at the accountability of that project, how many of them really absolutely translate? While I still have faith in the future of this country, if I don't, I'm not going to be back in Nigeria. That faith is still there, that belief is still there. But we need to start shifting the conversation from handshakes and photo ops to how does it absolutely translate to the life of an average Nigerian. Because like she said at the beginning, how much can a single person take? The core fabric of this country that holds us together is extremely thin right now. An average Nigerian is tired. And if you keep pushing the boundary, one day the water is going to break. And that's not something that we want.
Yes, when Rwanda found itself surviving a very brutal civil war, and they now had a stable, they had peace and stability. some of the things that they decided on was power, because they believe that power is a galvanizer of economic growth. So for alternative power, what they did was they gave zero charges on anything solar. So in Rwanda, solar is very cheap to acquire, and it's bridging the gap. Do you think Nigeria should look towards that? You said some things about green energy, which I found quite interesting. Do you think that Nigeria should explore initiatives that allows for anything green energy to come into Nigeria at the cheapest possible rate?
Absolutely. I'm going to give you an example to that. California, a couple of years ago, introduced a law that allows that if you're going to buy a car, if it's alternative energy cars, electric cars, as against gas cars, they subsidize it in a way where the government themselves, the government of California, cover a huge part of that. And then on a yearly basis, they give you a return for using electric cars. So this encourages people to buy more electric cars in California. Now, back to the Rwanda situation that you mentioned. If government find a way to subsidize, tell me which single functioning human being is not going to be happy when their life is made easier, it becomes simpler for them. So to your question, the answer is yes. We need to start looking at alternative energy. And one of the ways where we can do that is how can we subsidize this for an average Nigerian? How can solar power become readily available? The cost of production is extremely high. Last week, I went to sleep, woke up, and I received an email from our logistic partner. And their email was they introducing a 30% surcharge to local pickup delivery against international. And I look at her and say, my goodness, international delivery is already high. Now you're adding 30% to the surcharge. Who is going to pay that? Now, if, for example, we have 1,000 buyers on a daily basis, you automatically cut that 1,000 buyers to 500 now. Now, when you cut that 5 to 500, it affects the life of my employees, my staff, the continuity of my organization, but also most importantly, the people that sells on the platform. The volume of product they sell on a daily basis now dropped to half. It's a stream down effect. Now, if we start looking at it, also the employees that works for you, gases is more expensive now. Their cost of livelihood is more expensive. Now they're going to start asking you for salary increase. You now have to go back to the drawing board and do cost of living adjustment. When you do that and your revenue as an organization is dwindling, but your cost of operation is increased, it's taking life out of you.
What they did actually was zero import charges on anything that has to do with solar, because if we're asking for subsidy in Nigeria, that might be a tall order for now, but we can say, look, anything that has to do with solar that you are bringing into Nigeria, there are no charges. That will bring the price down a little bit, don't you think?
I agree with you. The question is, will our government going to do it?
But we cannot rule out, just a moment, we cannot rule out some of the gains of this administration.
Absolutely.
Before the Middle East crisis, we saw what petrol was as at that time, and the CNG initiative brought by the president. So these are some of the good initiatives before the Middle East crisis. So we need to establish that so that Nigerians can definitely know, because some Nigerians don't even know that the reason we're having this hike in fuel prices is because of the crisis in the Middle East.
No, I agree with you. In the last couple of years, things has changed a little bit. Every December, there's always forecast scarcity. When I was growing up in Lagos.
So that's what I need you to establish.
No, in Lagos, there's always for scarcity. But in the last couple of years, that miraculously went away. It's because of the work the administration have done. I'm not taking anything away from them. But can more be done? Absolutely. Couple of months ago, I was in the country. The price was about 700 something. Now it's like 1,000 plus. And every day I buy full tank every 2 days because of my movement. That is a cost, additional cost on the organization itself. So now we're not ruling anything out, but at the same time, as a country, we cannot sit and let the future of this country be determined by a single crisis in the Middle East. What about the next crisis? Where does that put us as a country? That's what I'm saying. Decentralization of our power supply away from the global center space. No matter what is happening out there in the world, we will be fine.
Yes, of course, absolutely. And we have to do what we need to do, even especially as business owners. And you run Giri today. Now let's bring it down to practicality. I mean, Nigerians are watching. We want to know, as a business owner, right? I mean, your daily operations. I like the fact you already referred to your employees and how they're probably asking for salary increases, because these are things they need to get by. So what are the things you're putting in place as a business owner to literally help all of these things? Because the truth is, a lot of times in Nigeria, we provide security. We provide our own lights. So now, as a business, you have to do what you need to do. So what are the practical things you're putting in place to help you get by?
A friend of mine said something to me yesterday. She said, if you're a business owner, take your flowers. If you're a business owner in Nigeria, take your double flowers. Yes, I mentioned a little bit about it, like cost of living adjustment is essentially important, because you don't want people working for you and being able to afford the simplest means of livelihood becomes difficult for them. Those are part of the conversations that we're already having. The other part of it is, what other organization incentive that we can put in place aside the cost of living adjustment? For example, being able to give access for them to, okay, the company's going to take care of some of your electricity costs because some of them work remotely anyway. So the little things like that, these also had a strain, because now you have to take that out of your profit margin. When you take that out of your profit margin, your investors are waiting. And they're looking at the end of Q1, Q2, they're looking at the numbers and saying, yes, the volume was great, but by the time that translates over to investor return, it becomes smaller. And they're not going to understand, because many of them are from Silicon Valley. They don't understand the African problem.
True. Very true. Thank you so much, Mr. Wale Ayantoye, CEO Giri today. It was a pleasure having you here, talking to you. Wish you all the best with your business, and more strength to you. More strength
and the president has even said that tough times will not last.
Tough people last. Tough times don't last. Anyways, we're going on a quick break right now. And after the break, we will discuss